Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Tanisha's Locks Beauty Tips and Potpourri. Hello, everyone. I am going to get my retightening. It is early morning, and I'm going to see Miss Efraj. I'm down here in Atlanta, Georgia. I will put her information in the description in case you want to look her up. She's been doing my hair now for over 9 years. The majority of the time, even though I do have a backup loctician, and I guess you could say I've done it now 3 times. Well, my daughter did it the last time. So I wanted to talk today about things you need to look out for on your lock journey, especially when you have mature locks. Mature locks meaning locks that have been in for some number of years, that have some length. Now this topic is going to pertain to you even if you have new locks, because eventually they're going to become mature locks. Just a few things that I've been noticing lately. I think I told you all, or I think I shared with you all before, that I was going to start to really pay attention to some of the things that I had been a little bit more uneducated about or absent-minded about as it related to my lock journey in terms of the length and hair loss. And this is because a lot of the feedback I've gotten on the channel from women who have had their locks for many years, some less of course, but many years, and kind of are having some difficulty with thinning, losing locks, and so forth and so on. And just some of the other challenges I think that come the longer that you participate in this journey. And it's so important to us because, you know, first of all, our hair is our crown. Number 2, we make this choice because of certain hair care needs and concerns and desires for longer, healthier, more abundant hair. And then the investment. So it's not a journey that the majority of us, I think, start that we think we may have to end or cut short in some particular way. So, you know, as I look at my hair is long. It's very long. It comes down to my butt in the back at various points, probably maybe 2/3 of it, or 2/5 of it, let me say, are at the top of my butt. My hair is very uneven. It grows different ways, and I've never fully even the whole head of locks all the way around. But what I'm concerned about now, this time I waited longer than I ever wait to get my retightening, and I can tell the difference, and I won't do it anymore. You know, guys, I'm usually at 10-11 weeks. I waited a little longer. It took me a minute to get an appointment. My schedule was kind of upside down, and I just wasn't able to finagle it. And I noticed a lot of things that I'll have to be much more careful of before, and just in general. So I don't know if you guys, some of you keep up with this channel pretty religiously. You know, I've been doing the I Am Melanin Magic Hair Oil, because this is the oil that I've used on my hair since the beginning. And I credit that a lot of times for the reason why some of the things I've done to my hair I hadn't really had to pay for, because I'm supplementing with these oils, this natural stuff, and it's helping to repair, and it's also giving my hair more strength. And I credit this for the length. All right, my hair should not be twice the length of people who started their hair the same time as me. All right, or let's say a third to a half more in length. So I know it's this. I've dyed my hair a lot of times. You guys hear me speak about this on the channel. So anyway, you can get that at IamMelaninMagic.com. But one of the things I noticed was my hair was a lot more tangled. So naturally, I had to use the spray to detangle a lot of it. Some of the locks I had to be very careful with because I had so much new growth. The thing that was different this time too, and this is where I have to really caution everybody, no matter what products you are putting on your hair, if you're using them regularly. Up until a few weeks ago, I was using the lock oil on my hair only twice a week. Okay, I like it lighter. I prefer that. You know, I've been down this road before. Even though this particular oil is much lighter, I needed that lightness. And so while I'm making the oil, sometimes things overflow. Oftentimes they do. You misappropriate, or you underestimate the amount of oil. And rather than waste it, I just put it in my hair. You know, just scoop it up and put it in my hair. So I was using a lot of oils this last time, which created a lot more growth. My hair grew more than it normally does. So I have a lot more new growth for about an extra week of not retightening. Then it also, of course, with the increased oils and less washing, because you all know I don't wash my hair a lot. I stand by. Increased washing is increased drying, is increased stripping your hair of important minerals and nutrients, is increased breakage and thinning. So I'm not one to really support that. So I noticed my hair was a lot heavier, especially in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and it was becoming a nuisance just like before. I was putting the oil in every day because I was making oils every day in big batches. So it was getting heavier. So even my neck, just like before, my neck, all right, but the increased weight. Now, if you consider a bottle of this has weight. It's 8 ounces of liquid. Regardless of what type of liquid it is, it's got to go somewhere, right? And it's not like it's going in our bloodstream and it's disappearing into the body and being metabolized. It's sitting on top. So you have to wash it, or you have to limit the amount of oil if you're not going to be washing it on a regular basis, depending upon what the particular needs are of your hair. That's the key, what the particular needs are of your hair. So that I noticed. I also noticed this time, because my hair is getting so much longer, not that I didn't notice it before, but when I was in the shower, it was so much heavier. And just washing it, I felt like was putting a strain on my hair. So I noticed myself turning my head like this, leaving the hair on top, and washing it like this, rather than just letting it hang down long, because it's extra weight and you can feel it pulling on the hair. Now, you know, before I do my retightenings, I always get my hair washed. I wash it, I always wash it, and make sure when I go to her that my hair is clean. So in doing that, my hair is light again. It feels great. I put my oil in last night rather than putting it down the length of my hair, because fundamentally I don't need it there. I need it up here. But I was having to put it there because I had so much oil I was having to put in my hair because of the overflow from making the oils. But in doing that, my hair feels lighter. I'm back to where I started and all of that. But I noticed the marrying, I noticed the length, the weight. I noticed with the marrying that I really had to be a lot more careful with regard to how I was going to disentangle those locks, and that I had to absolutely use the oil. I couldn't just pull them apart, all right? And I'm being much more mindful now of any short pieces I find around the lock, because not just along the length of the lock, that's normal, but around the root bed, any short pieces that I find, to me, represent either new hair growing in from nowhere that hasn't caught up with the longer hair, or hair that has broken and is eventually, right now it's still growing, because maybe it's where I am in life, maybe it's the oil I'm using, who knows what it is. It's my nutrition and so forth and so on. But at some point it may not rebound as strongly, and those short little hairs around the lock will become shorter, or they won't grow back, or they will grow a lot the length or the growth cycle will be elongated. It's going to take longer for the hair to catch up with the other hair, which means that my locks eventually will thin, or they won't be the same size or diameter all the way down. So these are things that we have to really be mindful of, you guys, because we're going through this journey together, and it is my hope that I don't have to end up cutting my locks, or I don't start to notice thinning. This particular time, with me going on my going to my loctician, I want to tell her this time to not tighten as much as she did last time. I noticed last time, for the first time in many months, my hair was too tight. And it also was sore. And I didn't notice it while she was doing it because we were talking. But once I left that next day, I did notice it. And I thought to myself, wow, that is enough to put some extra stress on my hair and pop some follicles or weaken some follicles, and then eventually lead to some sort of, you know, it is hair trauma, but lead to some sort of hair loss. So I was going to make a point of making sure I told her today to, and that's why I spent 2 hours yesterday going through every single lock and separating it one by one, or going through every lock and just making sure that its position on the grid was free of loose hairs or free of hairs that may have just been wispy and got caught in another piece of hair, because I need today to be very smooth, and I don't want her to have to do any kind of detangling at all. I waited a little bit longer for this particular tightening and so forth and so on. So these are things that we really have to be careful of. This time when I washed my hair, I did not braid and band. I also let it dry naturally without doing a braid out, which meant that my hair was a lot more like this, all right, which makes it puffier. It makes it a little bit more difficult to lay down and so forth and so on. So what I'm saying to you is, as you are developing mature locks, number one, investigate the health of your hair on a regular basis. Sometimes lock by lock, pull a lock in various areas of your hair and see what's happening. Feel through and make sure you're not feeling any spots where it seems like the hair has thinned or there is no lock. Check the actual locks and make sure down the length of a lock you don't notice places where the lock is very thin, especially from the root part to where the heaviness of the lock is. Because if you start to notice that in a pronounced way, then we have to assume that the hair is thinning, and that while it may not be noticeable now, it will be noticeable long term. If you have very long hair, number two, make sure when you wash it, you find some way to brace your hair or to pin your hair up while you're washing one part of it, so that all of it is just not hanging. This may not seem important, but as your hair gets longer and more weighty, it is very important. Number three, do not overwash your hair. It is going to stress your hair. I have a sister who sent me, shared some beautiful pictures with me earlier this week, and her locks are thinning quite a bit, significantly in certain areas, and she was instructed to use a green tea shampoo and to wash once a week. And she's getting 6-week retightenings, which is very frequent. I think that's a bit much. I think that that's just going to contribute to more stress on the hair, and I think it's unnecessary. And when you're using essential oil blends and things like that on your hair, you definitely don't need to wash at that frequency, which is why I can make it so far in between and not have buildup and residue on my hair. Other than the occasional weightiness, which has been more recent since I've been using more oil, since I've been making so much more of it, then I've dealt with that. But the frequent washing is something that you have to worry about. When you are deciding what is the ideal time for your retightening, judge it by how much time it takes for your locks to start to become tangled. Not just tangled to where you can pull them apart, because that can happen to some people's hair depending upon the texture every few weeks. And you just need to go in and gently, you know, separate them or spray some oil and just gently kind of separate them. But when you start to notice the length of the root bed is married or marrying another lock or getting tangled to where you can't just gently pull them apart and you have to use more force, that's when you know you've waited too long between a retightening and you need to manage that. The other thing is the length of the hair, making sure that the length of the hair does not become a liability. And last but not least is being willing to consider, which I am at this point. It's not something I want to do at all. I've done it before. It's not fun. But being willing to consider at some point in your journey, you may need to retighten your own locks. Because in that case, you can break up the retightenings over a period of days. You will take more hours. And you can, there's a sister on YouTube, I think her channel is Loc Journey. She's a flight attendant, but I've seen her retighten her own locks over the years since I started with these locks. And I noticed, you can see when she's doing her retightening, she's so gentle. It could be Journey with me. She's so gentle, and you can know that her hair is intact and the integrity of her lock is not being jeopardized through the retightening, because it's so gentle, really. And it may take longer, but she moves through effortlessly. There's no rushing, there's no popping of hairs, and that way you can be sure 100% that your hair is going to survive this thing. And these are just things that I'm becoming more and more attuned to as I go through this journey, because my hair, my locks are getting longer. That's a liability in some instances. I'm continuing to do the retightening, and someone else is retightening my hair. And although most of the time I don't feel discomfort, there have been times that I did, and I couldn't always judge it while I was sitting in the chair. Number 3, I'm realizing I may need to adjust my retightening schedule due to the growth periods of my hair. Sometimes my hair grows faster at certain times, like during the summer and spring. Those may be times I need to adjust my retightening schedule. But if I'm going to adjust my retightening schedule and get it more often, and in your case or in any of our cases, it's not a gentle retightening, then I'm just subjecting my hair to more trauma over time. So these are just some of the things that we want to consider as we have these mature locks. I hope that this video has given you something to think about. I'm going to also add a clip after I've gotten my hair retightened, so that you can kind of see. This is kind of more or less how I like my hair to be. I don't like to see the parts and all of that after retightening. So we're gonna take a look, and we're going to see, because it's been a while since I've been in to get my hair retightening. I'll tell you if she has any commentary, or if she notices the extra length, or if it takes more time, or if she complains about how long it's been since I've been in there, and all of that good stuff. So I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you have a peaceful, productive, and prosperous day. I hope that you're feeling good and looking forward to going into the month of July. Where did 2021, the first half of it, go? We are already so far into the new year. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you guys again soon. Bye. Okay, y'all. I just got my retightening. Y'all know it's going to be looking crazy, because you can see, woo, Lord, you can see all the parts, everything, the skin. Oh, I just don't like it after that first retightening. As a fresh retightening, and I hadn't had one in a long time. Just so you know, I have 587 locks the last time I counted. I might have added 1 or 2. But this is the redo with E. Frage, my lovely Atlanta area loctician. I don't know if y'all can see, but I am satisfied with the locking, and I will wait for things to fill in over another week or 2. But I'm satisfied. I hope y'all find benefit in this and in the tips I gave y'all, and much love.